We're just going to start our session now. And the slides are coming up in just a second. But here with us, we have our incredible partners from Queen Rania Teachers Academy and Teach for All. And we're EdHeroes, as you may guess by the video. So we have Anna Malero, who is the Chief Government Officer of Teach for All, and Dr. Osama Oeda, who is the CEO of Queen Rania Teachers Academy, and the member of our advisory board, this team member. Oh, here we are. Yeah. And to start us off, we're not sitting in the right places, but to start us off, we just have a couple of fun questions. We always want to see serious people answer fun questions. So let's start with that. Okay. And the clicker doesn't work. All right, we'll just start with the questions anyway. So Anna, first question's for you, and we have 2 minutes to answer each question. You're not sure which questions we're going to ask you, so this is part of the fun. Yep, yeah, here, I'll read it out. Anna, as a parent, you're explaining something to your kid while they start Googling what you're saying to fact check. What are your actions?
Thank you, Alina. I have a 2-year-old one, so I don't know. I would be so shocked as the first thing. And then the other thing, I would think, what a smart kid, right? I think leveraging Google and other technologies is always something good to do. What I would make sure is that he has the opportunity also to learn about, critical thinking, how to read information, how to incorporate that in problem solving. So I think it's great if people use Google. We just need to bring it alongside other skills.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's very true, to develop critical thinking and really understand where the sources that you have are coming from. Thank you. Osama, next question. If the clicker works or not? No. Okay. So Dr. Osama, aliens came to Earth and asked you to give 3 pieces of advice about the best way to receive education on Earth. What are they? What are your pieces of advice?
I think the first thing is to act like aliens.
Okay.
This is a very tough question, Alina. Definitely they need to understand human beings. They need to answer others, celebrate diversity, understand global issues, sustainability issues. I mean, these are the advices before they take any action. Engage in understanding the community. Use technology wisely. So these are the pieces of information advices I would give to aliens. And we don't know, we might be the aliens at the end of the day.
It's a tough question. If aliens came to Earth, maybe they have some technology, but I guess they better adapt to our technology. Yeah. Okay, Anna, next question's for you. So, have you ever cheated education, and how? However you interpret it.
Wow. Is this being recorded? To be honest, I never cheated. I was such a good student that I don't recall cheating, and I know it sounds like maybe too nice, but it's for real. What I did was help other colleagues of mine during exams and also providing with, information and materials and all that, but I'm not the one to cheat, even at school.
Have you ever tried to help any of your classmates?
Probably that I did, yes. I think we should ask the same question to everyone.
Yeah. Maybe that's also a way you hack the system, not cheated, but hack the system to not cheat, which is really cool, actually. Maybe we should all learn how to learn. Yeah. Dr. Osama, next question's for you. So, if you could go back, would you use ChatGPT shortcuts in school and university?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm always with the new trends, and we don't have the options. And why not? I mean, this is part of the technology that we use. Again, we have to use it wisely. We need to understand it. So if it is going to help me, to help kids to improve their learning, the teachers, if it's going to help teachers improve their teaching, definitely we'll go with ChatGPT. And I'll take this opportunity to say, I think so far there's some misleading understanding about what's ChatGPT and how it's used. And I'm totally against banning it in schools, definitely. But how to use it, you can put some guidelines, some policies. But it is a tool that's helping, and I know some colleagues who are using it even in their work, and it makes their work more efficient. Instead of spending hours on some tasks, they use ChatGPT. Then you can use it to verify some information. I know it's not always accurate, but this is how you use it. So I will definitely encourage using it in schools.
Thank you. That's awesome. And yeah, if you have the tools available to use modern technology that are actually applicable in real life and in the world, then yeah, just learn how to. That's amazing. Thank you. All right, next we have slightly more targeted, more questions about the programs. And Anna, you are the Chief Government Officer of Teach for All, a huge organization with so many different hubs and networks. But you also focus a lot on leadership. So my first question is, how do you teach leadership to children?
Thank you for the question, Alina, and I'm glad that the trivia questions are over. I was starting to sweat here.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, before I start, and as you said, developing leadership is at the core of our work. Let me just introduce a little bit Teach for All. So we're a global network of 60 and growing independent civil society organizations that are united by a mission, which is to develop this collective leadership to ensure all kids fulfill their potential. And actually, we do this by recruiting and selecting the most promising young professionals in each country, asking them to commit 2 years to teach in the most underserved schools. And then during these 2 years, investing very intentionally in developing not only their teaching skills, but also their leadership skills. And this journey of developing their leadership skills as teachers becomes so transformational that they never leave the job. They decide to stay working at all levels of the education system, in the classrooms, as school principals, policymakers in education, to enable all kids to fulfill their potential. So yeah, as you were saying, at the core of our work is leadership and leadership in education. So you were asking, how do we teach leadership to kids? I don't know. I guess to me the first important question is why do we need to teach leadership or to develop students as leaders more than the how? And I think it relates very much to the purpose of education and defining what's the purpose of education. And I know that if I were to ask here in the room, I would get as many answers as people are probably, is it to develop the workforce of the future? Is it to develop engaged citizens? Is it to impart academic knowledge? And for us at Teach for All, we believe that the purpose is to develop students as leaders who can shape a better future for themselves and for all of us. Because, the world that they will inherit is going to be much more complex than the world that we inherited as adults, right? There's climate injustice, there's growing disparities, learning loss through COVID, and how are these kids and children going to tackle all these very entrenched and adaptive challenges is if we develop themselves as, critical thinkers, problem solvers, someone who has empathy, self-awareness, agency. So we need to develop these students as leaders through bringing all these skills to the classrooms and also as teachers with these mindsets.
Yeah, you're totally right. And how Teach for All just goes from, making sure that teachers want to be teachers, that they have the tools and the resources, and taking it to teachers or leaders. Okay, then how do we take this further? It's a whole process, and it's incredible. And so my next question is, so what is the mindset that teachers need to have to develop students as teachers? It's the final stage of the process.
Yeah, so that's sort of like we define the purpose. It is to develop students as leaders. What's the role of the teachers then that are in the classrooms? And I think like it requires a specific mindset for these teachers. And what we've seen, we've observed like thousands of transformational classrooms across the 60 countries where we work. And what we've seen is that where you see more aggregate progress on students is where teachers act as learners. So they are not there to impart knowledge, but they are there also to learn alongside students, to facilitate, to ignite, like that leadership within the students. So we've been observing two things about the mindset of teachers. The first one is what motivates them to become teachers. And this is something we should pay a lot of attention because we're facing sometimes a bit of a, education workforce crisis. So what we've seen is that what motivates them is their ideals and their values, their shared purpose. So understanding that the future depends on what happens now in classrooms. They are also motivated by a sense of belonging, so being part of a collective of other teachers, not only on their own. And then also they are motivated by offering them support like mentorship, leadership, potential coaching, etc., etc. So that's the mindset that you need to have, and that's how we recruit people and teachers who have those mindsets.
Wow. Thank you. I mean, it is always true that you never really stop learning yourself, no matter what age you are, and you're never only a teacher or only a student. It's a cycle of something that you share, and it's incredible how you provide that for teachers, and they understand that they're learning leadership, they're transferring that skill, and they're passionate about it. They actually care. Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Now, Dr. Osama. You've actually already had a session, and Dr. Osama here spoke about the leadership programs and about Queen Rania Teachers Academy and what they do. And I know there is a lot of overlap with Teach for All as well. But you have those incredible leadership programs. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it, and why do you offer such a program?
Thank you. I'll start from what Anna said. I mean, the future starts in the classroom, and it is important to build all these capabilities and the skills as early as possible. We believe change can't happen without having school leaders on board. So we have been working with teachers since the inception of Queen Rania Teacher Academy since 2009. However, there wasn't a well-designed leadership program, and by leadership, it's for school leaders. And school leaders are defined in our context as principals, supervisors, mentors, heads of departments, etc. So we're not talking about students as leaders or students leaders. So 2016, there was a big shift in our programs when we started offering professional diplomas, long-term programs for teachers, teaching diploma or different tracks. But we, again, testing that model, we thought there must be something for a principal in parallel, because training teacher, preparing teachers alone without having principals or leaders on board, it's not, the impact might happen, but it's going to be minimum. Because at the end of the day, you need someone to be the champion for change, and in this case, leaders. And leaders, again, in our context, are school principals. So that was one of the reasons why we were motivated to launch different tracks for the leadership program. And there are different components. One of them, we worked on the mindset. It's all about the mindset. The growth mindset of learning, how to become a lifelong learner. These are very difficult. I mean, it's not about managing your school, rather than how to make that shift and make the change, lead the change, work with the community, sustain the change, and transform. Transformation is always a priority for the schools, and we did several case studies. We found that in fact there is a huge correlation between the principals or the leaders who enrolled in different programs and the way they run their schools. I mean, it's completely different. And definitely that was part of measuring the impact of our programs. We monitor the programs, we measure the impact, and sometimes even by external impact evaluators, and the transformation is amazing. So leaders are the core of the school, and as well as teachers. So you can't have one without the other. I mean, this is very important, and that was one of the key aspects or motivations for us to launch the leadership program. And now even in our short-term programs, the continuous professional development, whenever we go, we offer programs, we train both. So if we have a session for teachers, it's not enough. We bring leaders to know that what their teachers have been taught, what are the new skills. And we don't want to create a gap between teachers and leaders, because we want them to work together at the end of the day. And they become part of the community of practice when they understand each other. So for all these reasons, the leadership program was launched, and we continue to expand it to QRTA.
Thank you. That's amazing, and we're sold. We want to do the leadership program. So now we really have an understanding of why our kids need to be leaders and how to make teachers leaders, and this is where we are. You also mentioned a little bit about how you measure the impact, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit on the impact, the components of the programs, and we're here, so how do we enroll?
Oh, I mean, again, the impact could mean different things to different people. But we are always keen on measuring the impact. We have a function that, in fact, is in charge of all of this, to monitor and evaluate all the programs. And again, we set clear indicators, we set clear objectives. And again, some programs, you may measure the impact of some programs, including the leadership, after 3 or 4 years. One of the programs that we have been running, and part of it is on leadership. In fact, it took us 3 years in collaboration with Toronto University to measure the impact of that program. Because again, the investment is huge, and because as an NGO, we receive money from donors, and at the end of the day, they want to make sure that they put their money on the right place, and showing them the impact and the human stories. The impact doesn't have to be in improving students' grades in the classroom. At least for me, this is not a good indicator. But how is it changing the lives of students, of teachers, even one teacher in a school? If that's happening, then for me, that's a positive impact the program is making. One of the programs that we did with UNICEF, which was the training Syrian assistant teachers in refugee camps, and by gaining the skills of how to read the stories as assistant teachers and taking that knowledge back to their homes, I mean, this is real impact. You will be touched by the stories that you hear, how they work with kids, how they improve learning, working on literacy, etc. So impact, measuring the impact, regardless how it is defined, is always core of our work in all our programs.
That's amazing, thank you. Now I think all of us are gonna run to QRT to make sure we get our hands on the leadership program, and I think it's really awesome to hear from specialists in the field of why it is so important, how do we approach it, who are the teachers, and I mean, during the pandemic it really became apparent for a lot of people why leadership is so important, and it's not just learning, and just like you said, it's not about just grades, it's about humans, and it's about people, and it's about caring. We also have something at EdHero. I mean, very self-explanatory. It's an educational hero, and we believe that leadership is something that anyone takes personally, and you can really interpret it however you like, but sometimes it's important to have a comprehensive guideline to understand how you approach it, and that's why you have the program, and that's why you also have your training programs for the teachers, and that's why also EdHeroes has a program, and everyone has a program for that. Yeah, so generally, maybe for the next slide, we have created a course like that as well for anyone who's interested as an individual, if anyone is a company and an accomplished leader like our members here. We also have something that you can have for your programs, for your leadership programs, for any of your educational programs to really have, that badge of honor. Hey, this is what we do, this is who we are. We just want a little bit more, visibility, recognition for this to reach more people. And I think that's something that is also very important for those programs, for those teachers, to have the visibility and the recognition. I mean, this is why we're here at the conference today, right, as well. Yeah, so you're more than welcome to contact us at EdHeroes. And now maybe we have a little bit more time to ask speakers any questions that you might have about their thoughts, topics, leadership, maybe nothing too personal. Yeah. Maybe if we can also go to the slide with the speakers again.
Alina, this model looks interesting. I mean, optimism is one of the core principles of the program, optimism and energy. What do you mean by optimism? I will ask you the question then.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Then we're going to do a little bit of a reverse Q&A. Optimism is really about the outlook on the situation of how we face very different challenges in life. We face so many different circumstances, and it can be really hard to adapt. So the outlook that you take on the situation and the approach that you take as an individual is what defines of how you come out of that situation a lot of the time. And it can be very, very, very difficult, as we know, especially after the pandemic. But as an organization, what we can do is to support. As an individual, what we can do is work with ourselves, truly, yeah.
No, this is great. I do agree with you. I mean, again, in order to make sure that there is a level of optimism, then you need to make sure there are tools in place to support teachers or school leaders, especially during the pandemic. I mean, it was a very tough time, and now after pandemic, even the expectations and the role of school leadership or teachers have changed. Positive or negative, we don't know yet, but we are always optimistic. That there was at least a positive side of all what happened at COVID, at least for QRTA. I mean, we managed to transform all our programs online. We benefited a lot. We took advantage of the new technology, and so that's become our normal. We don't want to go back to normal, as some people said. So our normal now is completely different, and so our expectations and whatever we want to even to share with school leaders or teachers or principals have changed. Students need a new set of skills, and they have developed the new sets of skills during COVID that we want to make sure also these skills are nurtured among teachers and school leaders so they can again live with it. And parents, of course. Parents have the role of parents and the expectation of parents have become even more important. So optimism is linked always to providing support and tools and communities where everyone feels safe to exchange ideas and expertise.
Exactly, and just like you mentioned, teachers are not just teachers in the classroom. It's really all of us. It's the parents who we start with. It's your first teacher, first educator. I still remember I went to this conference and there was around 1,000 people, and this one man stood up in the room. His name is Shiv Kamka, and he was talking about his first teacher, and he mentioned his mom, and he started choking up, and it was just amazing to see how a man like that would talk about his mother, his first teacher, truly, and everyone was touched, everyone was sobbing. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's yeah. If anyone has any more questions, this is the time. All right, I think that's a wrap, and obviously you can watch our sessions online on any of our channels, our accounts, for us, Quinania Teachers Academy or Teach for All. And thank you so much once again, Anna, Dr. Osama.
Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure sharing the panel with you, Dr. Osama.
Thank you, Alina. It's a pleasure as well, and thank you. And I want to compliment you on the great work that EdHeroes is doing. And I'm proud to be on the advisory board as well. So, the more we always ready to support because we believe in your mission as well. So, you're doing great. Thank you, Alina.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. And we could not have done it at all without the two of you and without your organizations. Thank you.